Am I the asshole? Have I, F21, overstayed my welcome at my boyfriend's, M21, parents' home? We've been dating for 3 months, and by month 2 was when I started coming over on a daily basis. He can't come to my apartment because it's small and I share it with 3 other girls, 1 bed, 1 bath. Throughout my stay, my boyfriend's sister, F30, would take opportunities to make jokes like, "Damn, we're gonna have to start making you pay rent." Or, recently, I was explaining to her how their dog was barking at me, and her response was, the dog, was telling you, go home. Here's the thing. The reason I put quotes over overstayed in the title is point number 1 especially. 1. My boyfriend and I are out majority of the day together. We often don't come back to his home only until the end of the day, when everyone is already in bed. 2. I eat food at his parents' once a week or every 2 weeks. 3. I do shower there, but that's maybe once every 2 weeks. 4. I do plenty of chores around the house since my work schedule is opposite to theirs. Vacuum, organize, wash dishes, dog sit, babysit his sister's son without pay. 5. I do use their toilet and water if I ever have to or have the opportunity. 6. Sometimes my clothes does get thrown in the wash along with my boyfriend's, once every 2 weeks. She's made enough remarks, jokes, that I plan to speak with their parents later today about paying some rent. Am I the asshole? Too long did not read. I come over my boyfriend's home, parents, shortly every day. His sister, F30, cracks jokes about me paying rent or going home when she can. In ways, I don't believe I overstay because I'm out with my boyfriend until the very end of the day, when everyone is in bed most days out of the week. But I'm also doubting myself with the amount of times his sister has made her rent jokes. Am I the asshole? Update 1. I know my post will be hot, and I know a lot of people are on watch with the conclusions of the family discussion. I'll update you guys whenever I can. Here's some quick and brief corrections so I don't have to let people know to read further. 1. Only his sister complains at all. His parents show inclusion and appreciation. Started from the sister, not the parents. 2. Opposite schedules equals weekdays off for me, weekends off for them. Get off at 9 a.m. the earliest, they get off 4:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m. Very approximate, the earliest. 3. I work 5 days a week, not 7. I get days off, believe it or not, LMFAO. 4. Why would I clean at night when people sleep? When I sleep. 5. Parents own the house. Sister lives there with a kid. 6. Have already known boyfriend and his parents pretty long before we started dating. 7. Not weird to clean a house when it's appreciated. I'll maybe come up with more corrections if I can think of any, but at the end of the day, what the family discussion comes down to will be the most important. Update 2. I do want to thank you all have supported me and my post, as well advised me in a calm manner. I appreciate it. The family discussion was pretty quick. Everyone gathered, and things took a really weird and unexpected turn actually. I started talking thinking the solution was I'd just pitch in a bill, or just do some monetary tasks each month, like grocery shopping for the family. Wrong. Their parents ended up wanting the entire 3 of us to start paying rent. Each person had a flat rate. Didn't matter who made more, who made less, who worked more, who has more financial support, etc. Me, not living there, I do get to pay less. It would help them more than we knew, especially now they plan on moving to a new home actually a lot closer to where I live, work purposes. It would also simply better help them with bills. Crazy part is the discussion of rent payments were coming anyway. It was just that I sped up that progress by bringing it up for myself. It also turns out my boyfriend was right. The way his sister cracked jokes about my stay is exactly how she finds her humor with me, I guess. During the discussion, it was stated she's perfectly fine and doesn't care, unless she had a change of heart after I happily obliged to paying rent. She agrees I, and my boyfriend, am not really ever there, but we eat, shit, and sleep there without making much a presence, so it felt weird for her. The issue is I felt more like a roommate that lives free than her friend, as her boyfriend's girlfriend, therefore the rent jokes came up. She did also mention that it would be nice to hang with her brother, only friend where they live, every now and then if she could, since she only has her son and their parents. Because of that I'll also be staying at my apartment around 2 days out of the week, so they can hang out together more. We will all be paying rent starting next month, and while they're not excited about it, it does push us 3 to try and get our own living spaces sooner rather than later if it's even possible. Believe it or not, even with a decent job, it doesn't take 10K in the savings to keep you out of financial obstacles. Even as a fresh adult, no mortgage, loans, late payments, etc., while paying for an apartment. Life just loves to hit you out of nowhere before you even know it. Thank you guys again for your utmost, or not utmost for some of you, support, and riding this short journey with me. You literally posted this on the relationship sub and we all told you that you are overstaying your welcome. And then you deleted your account and created a new one to post this here? You are the asshole. Grow up. You are the asshole. Showering and doing your laundry at his parents' house after 4 weeks of dating? Coming in at the wee hours of night? Organizing their things? Girl, go home. What the hell are you doing in my house touching my things? You are the asshole. They're joking because it's too awkward to say it directly. They want their space, house back. If you want to live with your boyfriend, then the two of you need to get a place together. I'm gonna say you are the asshole. You say you're there on a daily basis, you eat their food, your laundry gets thrown in with your boyfriend's, and above all that you say you usually get in when your boyfriend's parents are asleep. All this is a 3-month-long relationship? His sister's probably throwing jokes at you because she doesn't want to make things awkward by telling you to leave. The joke should be enough to make you realize you're overstaying. I mean, why are you asking Reddit if you're overstaying your welcome? If you have the feeling you are, then you probably are. You are the asshole. At 3 months. I'd be expecting to stay over once a week, if that, and that's just off my personal experience. You're taking the piss. Go home. It's not your BFS family's fault that you live with a mass of other people. You are the asshole. You're basically a stranger living in their house. This is excessive for 3 months of dating. They're trying to be polite about you being pretty rude. Info. You're over there every day? You go home at the end of every evening? It doesn't sound like it really. Why are you doing chores there? And when everyone is asleep, if you're apparently out most of the day and only back when people are asleep? Your post doesn't add up. You make it sound like you only visit once a week. I think you're there a lot more than you realize, and it's been going on for the last 2 out of 3 months, and your laundry is already being mixed in with his? That's some audacity. I'm leaning toward YTA. You are the asshole. How do you share a 1-bedroom place with 3 other people? But also, you shower there, you're there daily, you do chores, but are hardly ever there. Kind of sounds like you are there a lot more than you think. Am I the asshole for losing my temper at Sil after she ruined the meal I made? My Sil, Ashley, is, for lack of a nicer word, obnoxious. She constantly does whatever she wants, even when you ask her not to. She thinks she's right above everyone else, even when she's dead wrong. And she's just got this very stereotypical baby sister attitude where she acts like she can do whatever she wants and nobody is allowed to be mad at her because she's baby. Yes, that's something she regularly says. My husband says she's the youngest of their family, so her acting that way is normal. But I pointed out I'm the youngest of my family and I've never acted that way. I don't like Sil, but I've been polite and kept a peaceful relationship for my husband Sake. Until today. Today was the first time since 2019 that my husband or I have been able to see our small friend group in person. We all got our shots 2 months ago and decided to meet up finally for dinner. I cooked while our friends either pitched in ingredients, made appetizers, or brought wine. I made pasta ravioli by hand, which was hard. I made enough for me, Hubs, and our friends. But after they arrived and we all caught up while I was finishing the food, Sil showed up. She let herself in and greeted everyone happily. They know her and said hi, but I subtly asked Hubs what she was doing here. Turns out he'd mentioned the gathering to her and he guessed she assumed she was invited? I told him to tell her to leave, because she can't just invite herself like this. He said that would be humiliating for her and asked if she could stay. I was annoyed but agreed. Things were fine at the start. I had a few sips of wine to relax and was about to plate everyone's food at the kitchen island and bring it to them but forgot Parmesan, so went to get it. I heard Sil say she'd help bring the food to the table. I said no thanks and to stay seated. My back was to her and she said something I missed because of the loud clang of a pot hitting the floor. I heard everyone gasp and I closed my eyes. I knew what happened but didn't want to look. When I did, I just started crying. Hours of work splattered on the floor. Sil said it was okay, it was just some pasta, I'll buy more. I lost it. I called her a stupid bitch that ruined the entire dinner because she refuses to listen. She started boo-hooing and I told her to shut up and leave. She ran out crying and I sat down to cry too. Our friends consoled me and Hubs tried to say I went too far, but our friends told him he was an asshole and Sil was in the wrong. They helped clean and we ordered pizza. But after they left, Hubs and I were flooded with calls from his family saying I was a horrible spoiled brat who made their baby cry over some stupid food. Now I'm just crying and feeling like garbage. Did I go too far? I don't usually get so angry or curse. Am I the asshole? Edit. Hubs said he understands I'm upset the food was wasted, but he doesn't think my outburst was warranted and was actually kind of extreme. Tomorrow is his off day and I told him he's going to be making the dish like I did, by hand and on his own, and then at the end we'll see if he thinks my outburst was unwarranted. Edit 2 Whelp. Hubs made pasta for the first time today. And it went much like I'd anticipated. He was all confidence and, it'll be easy, during the first 30 minutes. But towards the end of the first hour that disappeared as the burn in his arms really set in from making enough dough for almost 60 ravioli. I did not lift a finger to help him knead since I didn't get any help when I did it. After the dough was done and wrapped up in the fridge, he made the filling, which took another 40 or so minutes. Then the dough was brought out and he had to start crafting the ravioli, all by hand after rolling the dough out. Lord, that went on for ages. Just rolling some dough out, cutting out squares, filling them and putting the top on, rinse and repeat until the dough and filling was all gone. All in all, the entire process from start to finish for him on his own took a little over 4 hours. And that's with us not actually cooking any of the ravioli. Also, he didn't make any sauce or cook any shrimp for the ravioli to be served in, with. Also, he didn't prepare any salad to go with it. And when I told him this, that there was still more to do, he almost started crying. He started saying sorry at the 1 hour mark and hasn't stopped apologizing since. We had a long talk about his sister and the dinner she ruined, the other time she's pulled similar incidents, there's a lot, and how him and his family always let her get away with it. He says he knows how they treat her isn't normal and he doesn't like it but was raised to just go with the flow regarding Ashley. But he said he's going to call her and tell her we need some space from her for now. Update? Hubs just got a message from his cousin of Ashley laughing and bragging about intentionally spilling the pasta to teach me a lesson for being such a snobby bitch. A handful of you all thought she did it on purpose, but I didn't actually think she did until hearing her admit to it. I have never seen my husband this pissed off before. IDK, what's going to happen now? You are the asshole, but justified asshole. From her perspective and her brothers, your husbands, you went nuclear. She's highly entitled and been brought up this way, you can't change her. And from your story, her family still continues to encourage her. Maybe she's clumsy, maybe she spilled it on purpose, but either way, you're not going to unspoil the food. This may not be your hill to die on, but if she glamours in being the baby, play along. Oh no, no wine for you, you're still baby, no, thanks, I don't need help. This is a big girl thing. Maybe when you're bigger, sorry, this dinner is for grown-ups and your baby. I'm incredibly petty though. Made their baby cry? She needs a serious wake-up call, and if she cried over it, then good. She needs to get some consequences. My kid sister is the youngest and she's mature, thoughtful, and courteous. There's no reason for Sil to be doing this. And #X200B. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You overreacted in a moment of high temper, but she inserted herself into a dinner uninvited, disregarded the hostess's wishes, and then downplayed her disaster. You had every right to be upset, and she decided to then turn the family against you. She's not the asshole. Honestly, I know different people would have different opinions on this, and I'm not sure if you would value my opinion cause I'm only 15. But I figured that I would still say it as an outsider's perspective. Your sister-in-law seems super spoiled, entitled and greedy. You were just trying to make a nice meal for your invited guests and she shouldn't have shown up like that. She should also be more careful with your house and your stuff, to be honest. Like those clumsy stuff shouldn't really happen, especially when you aren't invited. I'm so sorry girl, I hope you feel better. Not the asshole. Offer to apologize after she comes over and cooks that recipe from scratch for you. No. NTA. They are doing what they have always done and cater to her. You already said that is what they do. Trust your friends, they are taking logical upside view. It's time-consuming, hard effort to make ravioli by hand, fuck her. Not the asshole. You told her you didn't want help. She wasn't even invited. As a chef who understands the work behind ravioli, I'm personally heartbroken for you. That shit takes time. Not the asshole, you've got a bigger issue than your Sil, and that is a husband problem. A marriage where a partner puts the needs, wants of others before their partner is not sustainable. You guys need to have a serious talk and more than likely therapy. Am I the asshole for being late to work constantly? Basically, I work as a CSR. I have to be at work by 9:30 a.m. I normally get there anywhere between 9:32 and 9:38. Mainly because we don't open until 10 a.m. and I have a 10-minute grace period regardless, plus I normally stay a few minutes after the time I'm supposed to clock out. Now one of my managers always tells me, "Hey, you're supposed to text me when you're gonna be late, or why didn't you text me you were gonna be late?" But here's the thing. We get to work at the same time, sometimes she even gets here after me. So if I got here at exactly 9:30, that means I would be standing outside in 90,100-degree weather. Yes, it's already that hot by that time. Waiting for her to show up and unlock the doors. Now I understand she's my boss and I'm the employee, but how is it fair for her to call out that I'm late when she either gets here after or at the same time as me? I tried pointing it out once and she basically said, "Well, I'm the boss. You're not, and the other two employees are here by the time I get here. Why can't you?" I left it at that, but I wanted to point out my coworkers have cars to sit inside of with AC while they wait. I just get dropped off and have to stand outside. My coworkers never offer to let me sit with them and wait, which is fine, but I feel it would at least help. My mom says I'm the asshole for being late and for talking to my boss about it. My boss is salaried, so no matter what time she comes or goes she gets paid for the day. Whereas I'm paid to be there on time, so I should be. Despite the fact I can't clock in until I'm inside the building, so no, I don't get paid for getting there on time. So am I the asshole for being late so I don't have to stand outside in the heat? Edit, added a sentence. Edit number 2. Just quick question. Everyone is saying, if you're supposed to be there by 9:30 then you be there by 9:30. Okay, but I'm not getting paid for standing outside in the heat and I'm still clocking in at 9:35 or later because she doesn't get here before then. So how is my job supposed to know I'm getting to work on time if I'm not even clocking in until she gets here? I accept the everyone sucks here, but I also don't know what else to do. Edit. I work 5 days a week, 3 of those are with her. All 3 days, she is late. So every single shift since I started working here I have clocked in after 9:35. Regardless of me being here at 9:30 or not, or later depending when she gets to work. My attitude is great and I have been actually commended for good customer service. It's just this and just with her. With my other 2 managers I am always here at 9:30 because so are they. I would be more than happy to get to work on time, but my job won't know I'm on time because I can't clock in. Also no, they won't fire me for being within my permanent, in my contract, grace period, I asked. Last edit since my lunch is almost over. I can't speak to HR because the supervisor is also the owner, so that's as high as it goes. I have spoken to both him and my other manager about the situation. They have both told me as long as I am clocking in before 9:40, I am not considered late, my pay is not docked, I am not affecting business hours or other employees and no one is waiting on me. They advised me to speak to her privately about why she wants me there at exactly 9:30 when neither she nor I are required to be there until 9:39. Or any time before 9:40. She is the manager and I understand she can get to work at whatever time. But when I can't physically get into the building until she arrives, it's not fair I have be told I'm late by her. Because for argument's sake, even if I arrive at exactly 9:30 every day I will still be clocking in past 9:35 and at that point it will only be because of her, and she is the only one who has a problem with it. My coworkers and upper management, even the owner, do not care. I only mentioned the heat because it is something that makes it even more annoying. But that is not the main problem or even a big part of it. I'll show up to work on time from now on to make a point or ask if my coworkers will let me wait with them. I just don't think it's fair and I don't know what else to do. I am also not quitting because I'm a good employee and I really like my job and there are no other complaints from anyone else. Last and final edit, I will from now on show up at 9:30 regardless and take a time-stamped photo if she tries to say something. And I will tell her our upper management said I am not late and they don't care. I will speak to the owner again about her problem with me being late, despite him telling me I am not late and that it is not my job to ask a manager to be on time. 'Tis all, I am going to bed. Not responding anymore. Your boss sucks for being unprofessional, but that doesn't justify you being unprofessional as well. I do not miss those days. I used to have a similar problem at a job years ago. You are not an aw. Your boss is an aw. But even though you're not an asshole you are required to be on time. It's not fair, but that's life in the working world. Talk to your coworkers and ask if you can sit with them, talk to another boss about the situation, or find another job. If the official time you're meant to be there is 9:30, you get there bang on 9:30 or before. Your boss does suck though. Not the asshole. There are a lot of pettifogging authoritarians around who can't see any kind of authority without wanting to kowtow to it. You don't owe your employer better treatment than they give you, and if they're not letting you clock in when you arrive, that's wage theft. Of course you have no moral responsibility to stand outside, unpaid, and await their arrival. Also, there's this supposed labor crisis I keep hearing about, so just how likely are they, really, to want to get rid of an otherwise perfectly good member of staff over something that makes literally no difference at all? Also, stop staying late, they're not giving you any credit for it, or any money. I actually can't believe how many people are in here saying you're an sad brainwashed people. It doesn't sound like you showing up when you do negatively affects anyone or anything to do with the business. People obsessed with following completely arbitrary rules just because they exist drive me crazy. Why is it important for you to stand there waiting just because? You aren't making life harder for anyone by showing up when the doors open. Not the asshole. Edit. Grammar. If your contract says that you should be at work at 9:30, you should be at work at 9:30. Your boss, on the other hand, needs to be there. She can't leave her employees waiting outside because she is the boss. So yep, everyone sucks here. You are both unprofessional. Not the asshole. Never do more than you have to do for a boss who 1. Definitely underpays you and 2. Makes you stand outside in 90+ degree heat, unpaid. Your employer will fire you with no notice the minute they think they can get someone else who is better or they can pay less. You owe them nothing. Also, is it entirely your fault for arriving late when you're being dropped off? If you can't clock in until your boss lets you in the building, you're not actually getting paid from the time you get there. You might also mention the health and safety issue of having to wait outside in 90,100 degree heat. Your up to 10-minute lateness seems like a reasonable adaptation to your boss not having the door open at 9:30, your supposedly designated start time. These are issues to mention, though not in a confrontational way. And stop staying late unless you're getting paid for it. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for having someone else drive my acquaintance home after getting his wisdom teeth removed? So I sometimes hang out with this guy who I'll call Evan. He's kind of a friendly acquaintance and we have some mutual friends, but I've never particularly liked or been close with him. That's why I was surprised when he asked me if I would drive him home after his wisdom teeth removal surgery. He asked me about a week before if I would drive him home because his parents and girlfriend were going to be out of town. I agreed. The day of the surgery, I had something come up. I was invited last minute to a picnic with my cousin and her new boyfriend. So I asked my best friend, who I'll call Jacob, if he could pick the guy up after his surgery instead. My friend and Evan know each other well, but to be honest, it took some convincing because Jacob kind of despises him. My friend reluctantly agreed after I said would pay him to drive Evan home. If anyone dealt with or seen videos of someone who has just gotten their wisdom teeth out, you know how high on meds they are. They're extremely disoriented and confused and can act a little crazy. Apparently my friend Jacob couldn't take Evan's rambling after picking him up from the hospital and got very irritated with him. He pulled into a gas station, where he dropped Evan off and left. I got a call toward the end of the picnic from Evan's phone. The gas station cashier answered complaining that Evan had been abandoned at the gas station, and had twisted his ankle in his disorientation. She said I needed to come pick him up since he told her I was supposed to be driving him. I was completely exasperated by this. At Jacob for failing to do the job I had literally paid him to do, at Evan for being such a burden on everyone, and at the cashier for involving me in it all. I then had to apologize to my cousin and embarrass myself by leaving the picnic early to come retrieve Evan. The cashier then had the gall to insinuate that I'm irresponsible when I arrived to rescue him. I grabbed Evan and put him in the car. On the way home, it was clear that he was very high and couldn't quite understand what was going on. He kept asking, "Why did you leave me?" and "Why does my ankle hurt?" though. I responded that I never left him. My friend who was supposed to drive him home failed to do so, and his ankle was hurting because he was being clumsy and had injured himself. I got him home safely and left him there to rest. I dislike how both the cashier and Evan were implying that I was responsible for what happened. I had arranged for him to be transported home and done my part, and then I was still interrupted while at my cousin's picnic. Am I the asshole? Edit. Okay. Yeah. I see now that I'm the aw. I didn't realize Jacob hated him so much he would abandon him at a gas station, and I didn't think of all the horrible things that could happen to Evan. I'll have to get my wisdom teeth out too eventually, and I admit I wouldn't want to be left alone at a gas station. I should have found a better way to get him home. I'm going to take Evan some food, water, ice for his ankle. Edit. I get that I was a cruel, terrible person. I get that what I did to Evan was awful and made him feel awful. I'm trying to make it better. For those of you who keep messaging me that I'm a psychopath, narcissist, sociopath and that I shouldn't be allowed to have a girlfriend, family, friends, children, love or keep my dog, I accept that you think that. And I accept that you think I have mental disorders and need professional help. I know nothing I say will change your opinion at this point. I've asked you so many times to please stop sending me dozens of hate messages. I'm sorry. I'm begging you to please stop harassing me even if I deserve it. Edit. I never should have made this post. I won't delete it, but I'm taking a break from reading my messages, replies. You are the asshole. Holy fuck. Yes, you're the asshole. You made a commitment to your friend, abandoned him to be picked up by someone else after a better invitation came along, then got pissed at your medically drugged up friend for not knowing what's going on and acting not sober. Jesus Christ. I hope you don't ever have to rely on someone when you're in a vulnerable state as your friend. You left a medically vulnerable person in the hands of someone you say despises them because you got a better invitation? And then have the audacity to be mad at them for inconveniencing you because you had to do the thing you promised to do after they injured themselves further than they ever needed to? You are the asshole 100%. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. Poor you for having been so embarrassed and burdened by this person that you promised you'd be there for and help, when you then decided to ditch him last minute for a picnic. You are so much the selfish asshole here. Poor Evan. I hope his ankle heals up and he can find some reliable, good friends. Everyone here, other than Evan and the cashier, is a mega aw. Evan has done literally nothing wrong. You are responsible for what happened because you convinced someone else to do a job you'd already agreed to do. Jacob is an asshole for intentionally endangering Evan. You are extremely lucky Evan went inside rather than, say, wandering into traffic, or just wandering off. Genuinely, he could have died because of what you and Jacob did. How dare you? You are the asshole x 250. You are the asshole. Just, wow. You paid someone else to do the job and expected Evan to be okay with it. The person you hired acted like an asshole. It was your responsibility and you gave it to an irresponsible person to handle and you're mad it backfired? Poor Evan. You are the asshole, honestly. Your buddy didn't seem thrilled with having the task dumped on him last minute and Evan was relying on you. Also, info. Jacob kind of despises him. I'd be curious to know the story behind this. You are the asshole. You made a commitment and then decided to do something more fun? You're the big aw. You also endangered that guy's health and well-being just so you could go to a picnic? Next time, don't make promises you can't keep. Don't make a commitment then buy your way out of it. I sure wouldn't count on you for anything. You flaked. You're the asshole big time. You are the asshole big time. Wow, reading that actually pissed me off. If you didn't want the burden of picking someone up from something as serious as wisdom teeth removal, then don't agree to do it. Evan, the cashier, nor Jacob are to blame for what happened. That is all on you and only you. Had an emergency came up, then I could understand not being able to pick him up. But you ditched Evan for a simple picnic, and bugged someone who doesn't even like Evan until they agreed to pick him up. You agreed to pick him up, not anybody else. You're lucky he didn't hurt himself worse. You owe Evan more than an apology.